tal amigos? Welcome back to another edition of LstiNation Football Club. I am your host, Marcelino Ortiz, and today we have such an amazing show. There's been so much amazing football. Copa Italia, MLS on the weekday. We have NWSL with a lot of exciting games this weekend. And let's start by welcoming my good friend and trusted collaborator, El Chiva Mayor. How are you, my friend?
So happy to be back at LstiNation Football Club and ready to talk about the most amazing football in the world and everything else.
It is going to be a great show, Chiva. Let's get going because LAFC is back, baby. 4-0, returning the favor back to Seattle after the thrashing that they gave us up north. Chiva, the black and gold is back on its winning games. 3 wins in a row, multiple shutouts, and the team seems to be finding out their way right at the right time. Chiva, what are your impressions?
Team is looking really good, and what I love about the team is that, for example, this game versus Seattle, they rotate the players. We saw a different lineup. Not all the starters were playing, and they play really good. The way they're attacking is not just Boanga, at least for this past game, but they really really good. Yesterday they show that they can beat anyone, but then also they're so inconsistent that I'm not right there 100%. Is good. 3 wins in a row. What's coming up is going to be the biggest challenge to see if they're on the right path.
The most important league game of the season is coming up this Sunday. LAFC goes down to Carson, California to play against Galaxy. Galaxy is not in a good moment, Chiba. They had it in their bag. They were 2-0 visiting Philadelphia, making a statement that the champion was back, and the dream quickly vanished. It only took 2 minutes for Philadelphia to equalize. Baribo, the man of the match day, he got the team back into the game, probably on his own, Chiba. What is happening with Galaxy? They had it. They seemed to be stringing a good performance, and then very quickly, they forgot how to play.
They haven't won a single game in the entire season. They started doing really good, winning 2-0, just like you said. And then last minute, they score again against it. But if there's one thing the Galaxy has, is they know how to play against LAFC, especially in Carson. It seems like they when they see the jersey of LAFC, they forget how bad they're playing and they play like their best game of the season. I hope that's not gonna happen on Sunday. But the reality of it is that it could happen because they got nothing to lose.
I mean, Chiba, we gotta acknowledge this. The numbers and the odds are on LAFC favor, but if you are a clever betting man, you will be putting some money on Galaxy because the upside is incredible. We remember games like the Zlatan debut, where LAFC started banging with goals from Carlos Vela in the first half, only to everything vanish very quickly when the Swedish giant came and schooled us very quickly. Now let's talk about another falling giant in the league, Miami, tying on a 3-3, very exciting match with San Jose at San Jose. And we see again the frustration bubbling, the temperature rising, and the pressure getting to Lionel Messi's head. Chiba, we saw again deplorable images of this legend, the example of the kids being completely disrespectful, confrontational, and challenging against the referee. That did a very fair job, in my opinion. Nothing to reprimand on that end. Chiba, what is happening with Messi? Is he taking the MLS as his personal playground?
It looks like that's what it is. This is not the first time he does something like that. He's been like that in different occasions. And you know what? Unfortunately for the football of the MLS, it doesn't have any consequences. Why? Because he's Lionel Messi. At the end of the day, he can do whatever he wants. He never gets a red card. There's no repercussion for the thing that he has done because this is not the first time, like I said. Now, this is the first time I've seen Messi so frustrated. I guess he's not used to losing, and that's understandable. He's an amazing player that comes from amazing clubs, and you can see the frustration on his face whenever he can win. You see this type of scenes, where he doesn't think about the kids watching him being a figure of them, and et cetera, et cetera. And let's just hope, for the MLS to do something about it, because otherwise everybody's going to keep taking it like a joke.
It is right, Chiva. We saw the images, Bruce Arena trying to calm down Lionel Messi on their way back to the dressing rooms. The reality is that San Jose played an excellent game. Miami fought and didn't have the weapons, the impetu of the younger players. Messi wasn't really a difference maker other than the assist that he provided. And just today, it was announced that Jordi Alba got an extension till 2027. So it seems like Miami is setting the course again with these legends, trying to revive the old Barcelona, but the youthfulness, the speed, and the physicality of the league, I don't think is going to allow them to shine that easily. Chiva, tell me, what do you think about San Diego that continues to rack up wins, adding points, and now suddenly second place in the Western Conference for the newest California team? That it's one of the teams that Galaxy is going to be facing. We were talking about Galaxy. Galaxy plays LAFC, plays San Diego, and then San Jose. So San Diego looking really, really good. Talk to me about that game.
I mean, San Diego has been a surprise to everybody, being the new team in the MLS. Chucky Lozano, after that slow start with the injury, etc., etc. Right now, man, they're looking so good that the fans are bragging too much, and you cannot blame them. They're second place, but take it easy. The beginning of the season, we still got a lot of games to go, but at the end of the day, they're doing really good, and they are up there second place. Something that we kind of, I remember Nik was the one saying, I think I see him up there, and one of us was saying, like, I don't think so because it's the first season. But at the end of the day, they're doing really good. They got to be consistent. They got to keep it up. There's going to be more players coming into all the teams during the summer. So let's see what comes after that.
Let's see if San Diego can continue the fairy tale. And another game that I want to touch upon right before we leave on this segment, Chiva, is the first one in this rivalry week in MLS. San Luis Football Club, Kansas City. What a game. Jovelik, the former Galaxy player, scoring for the third time in 2 games against the fierce rival for Kansas City. What a game. Exciting moments, Chiva. What was your highlight?
I mean, Jovelich is a proven player that unfortunately didn't have enough chances with Galaxy as a starter. He will always come in and finish in the second half and deliver for them. And he went to a team that believe in him, that make him a star. That's why he's getting paid. We just heard from Wilkins not too long ago that they quadrupled his salary to take him to Kansas City, and he's good. He's good for a team like Kansas that last not too long ago beat Galaxy without doing a single shot on goal. And winning a Clásico is the best thing that can happen to you.
Especially on this rivalry week, one of the weeks that the MLS put the most hype into, and we are going to have great games like LAFC versus Galaxy, or Galaxy versus LAFC, because we're going outside LA to the southern lands of Carson, California. Chiva, some last remarks. What are your predictions? Do you think the LAFC team is going to be able to get the 3 points visiting Galaxy?
They better. They have no other option. I think if there's an opportunity to do that is this weekend. Galaxy comes from losing in the last minute yesterday, 7-0 versus New York. And if the Cherundolo say that he's about to get out at the end of the season and he loses on Sunday, he should just leave after that game. But I do see LAFC winning, to be honest with you.
That is right. Galaxy has a golden opportunity, but also a tall order in front of them. They have 3 critical games that will, decide the ranking order of the California teams. The triple bill that they face, LAFC, San Diego, and San Jose, could decide their fate, because if they lose those 3 games, they will be way, way below in points. Right now, they're 12 points away from any hopes of qualifying for the playoffs. Chiva, a grim scenario for the champions. But we have to go on a break. Thank you so much, Chiva, for your report. We'll see you here next week. And you at home, don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we have more LstiNation Football Club. We have Camila Ortiz and the NWSL report, and Nik Z is straight from the Serbian lands is going to tell us everything that is going down with the European leagues and Coppa Italia. There's a new champion after 52 years. A new champion in Coppa Italia. We'll be right back.
still underdogs at home, on the road, and all of these games. It's time for people to start understanding it's a legitimate team that has a chance not only to win the series against Cleveland, but also maybe even go all the way to the NBA Finals.
I think a lot of the focus has been on why the Cavs have not played particularly well. A lot of that is due to injury, of course, but I think that's taking too much credit away from what the Pacers have done.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Malaysia Fawali, who you guys know I am a huge fan, has decided to switch allegiances and stay in league. And now she's going to go play for Kim Mulkey. Her, Flau'jae Johnson in the backcourt. It's going to be interesting to watch. You wonder sometimes with roster construction, maybe too much is not too good.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Jason Tatum underwent surgery to repair a torn right Achilles tendon. That is obviously a season-ending injury, and you know that's long rehab. You're talking
that's a year.
That's a year.
I don't wish that on anybody. I don't. I hate that Achilles, knees and ankles. I don't like talking about them. I've said it a million times. But screw the Celtics.
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What?
How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
¿Qué tal? We are back here in LstiNation Football Club, and I'm excited because it's time to talk about the National Women's Soccer League, NWSL, and that's why we have our very own Camila Ortiz with all her insight and all the analysis of what happened this last weekend on match day number 8. Camila, what a weekend of games.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. It was a super exciting weekend. I actually had the opportunity to go to a home match here at ACFC, and it was incredible. I can't wait to get into it.
Let's watch the images because I know you had a great time. Let's take a look at the report.
Hi guys, I'm super thrilled to be here at BMO Stadium. Today we are watching ACFC versus Utah. I think this is going to be a super exciting match. It is important for ACFC to win tonight. And yeah, let's go check it out. ACFC versus Utah. This was an incredible game to watch. Just the energy of this stadium is incredible. You know, we saw in the first half a lot of missed opportunities that were unfortunate, but they came out second half. We have to talk about Kristen Press's incredible goal. She came out, she showed who she is, she reminded everyone here in the ACFC stadium. And yeah, she did incredible.
That's it. This is where Kristen Press has made her name, is this type of shot where she gets the setup touch and she can whip it in. Doesn't matter if it's her right foot, this time it's her left foot. She says, thank you very much.
I also want to talk about the Thompson sisters. I think they played incredible tonight. The energy they add to this team is really noticeable as a viewer here. I think they are such a great influence. I love seeing all the little girls at the stadium coming out to support women's soccer. And yeah, if you have a chance, please come out, check out your local NWSL team and support.
Camila, that looked like so much fun. Do you expect ACFC to continue racking up points and becoming the protagonist that this league has been expecting them to be?
Oh, phew, where do I begin? I think it was an incredible game. The team was extremely dynamic. I mean, it was just press after press and attack. It was incredible to see the team meshing that well together. It was a 2-0 win for ACFC, so they got those 3 points. I think we have to talk about Kristen Press's goal. She came in second half of the game and she scored in only 24 seconds, I believe. It was not only incredible to watch as a fan, but the team looked so supportive and happy of her to have scored that goal.
You know that if Christian Press returns to her level. ACFC is an immediate contender for the title because they need her experience and they need that incisiveness that she proved on this game. Speaking of young players, Camila, is something that we have to address. During the ACFC game, we had a terrible accident, a big scare, but it seemed like the player, she's doing better. Talk to me about the development on this case.
Yeah, so towards the second half of the ACFC game, we saw Savvy King, suddenly just go down on the field in the middle of a play. It was pretty frightening to watch. I know the whole stadium was holding their breath. They actually did have to do CPR and resuscitation on the field. And right now, all we know is that Savvy King had to have open heart surgery. It looks like it turned out well for Savvy King, and we are all glad to know that she is healing and resting up well. So, yeah, that's all the news we have right now.
Cardiac arrest is no joke when it comes to soccer. We've seen several incidents, and our thoughts and prayers are with the player and their speedy recovery. Camila, now let's go to the East Coast because there's another team trying to become a dynasty, but it's not easy in this league. We're talking about Orlando that had a tough weekend. Talk to me about that game.
Yeah, I mean, this weekend Orlando Pride tied with North Carolina Courage. I think it was a interesting match. It definitely wasn't what we've seen Orlando Pride been like throughout this season. They're coming off of a loss last weekend and then a draw this weekend. So we have some super exciting games to watch this weekend.
Talking about rivalries, Kansas City, a team that is not letting the foot off the gas pedal. What is going on?
I mean, Kansas City is playing phenomenal this season. They are looking incredibly strong as a team, not only offensively, but also defensively. They have had it locked down. I am super excited to see this Friday's match, Kansas City Currents versus Orlando Pride. This is definitely the two top dogs going head to head, and I think it's a must-watch game that everyone at home needs to watch this weekend.
So you're telling me that this weekend we have full of El Clásico. We have El Tráfico, LAFC versus Galaxy, and we also have the most exciting game in the NWSL, all happening this weekend?
I mean, yep, that's what it seems to be like.
It's going to be a great weekend for soccer lovers here in the U.S. Now, what other games are you eyeing for this weekend?
I mean, I know today I'm going to be tuning into Gotham versus San Diego Wave. San Diego Wave is a team that has really been quickly climbing up the ranks of the NWSL, and Gotham has had a solid season so far. I mean, they have Esther Gonzalez up front, who is the #1 goal scorer with 7 goals this season. But I wouldn't put San Diego Wave far behind. So I think it's going to be a tough match and, yeah, a must watch.
And Gotham is kind of going through a bit of a tough stretch right now. The results in their last 2 games are not ideal, but they have great news. They are just extending the contract of their flagship player. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it just came out that Esther Gonzalez is extending her contract with Gotham FC until the season of 2027. So she's here for a while. She is the Women's World Cup winner with Spain, and she is an absolutely vital player for Gotham FC. So yeah, that's some good news for them.
And it's important for the NWSL to have this caliber of players, to attract the top global players, to become the tutors and the mentors to this whole new generation of players. Camila, I know that you mentioned the San Diego Wave game, but tell me, I know that there are some developments at the level of ownership for that team. What are the surprises that you got? What are the inside scoops that you got for us?
Some super exciting news down in San Diego Wave. Okay, breaking news, Alex Morgan is now an investor, an official investor of San Diego Wave. This is incredibly thrilling news. I mean, it's just showing, again, we just talked about it last week. I feel like every single week we're learning about new investments, and it's just, again, testifying to how much this league is growing and developing exponentially, in fact.
And the economic appeal of a sport that is incredibly popular here in the United States, supported in every corner of the country. And I love to see a player put their money where their goals were. Alex Morgan, a star for the team, saying, I want to grow deep ties to this community. This is my city, and for that, I'm going to be behind the team. Great information, Camila. Thank you for your report. We'll see you here next week, but in the meantime, we have to go on a break, and you at home don't go anywhere, because when we come back, I'm here with Nik Z, straight from Europe, with their report of the domestic leagues and everything that went down in Coppa Italia. There's a new champion in Coppa Italia after 52 years. Bologna is back at the top. Don't go anywhere. This is LstiNation Futbol Club.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
They've won 7 in a row. They've been dominant at Citi Field. Lindor's been insane. Pete Alonso's been raking.
You know, Griffin Canning, David Peterson, those guys have pitched really, really well. And when you put it together with that lineup, especially like you said, Lindor's been great. You know, they've got the makings of something very special in Queens.
Pharrell, coast to coast, only on SportsGrid.
Derek Carr has called it a career after 11 NFL seasons.
I think they knew before the draft that they had to make a move at this point. And by the way, Derek Carr did have a pretty good career, made as many Pro Bowls as Eli Manning. So based on that, he should go to the Hall of Fame like Eli Manning. Well, Eli Manning does have a couple rings at that point, but
Only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We are back here in LstiNation Futbol Club. I am your host, Marcelino Ortiz, and it's time to talk about European soccer. That's right, the biggest game this week, Coppa Italia, where Bologna, the team that after 52 years was able to become a champion of the domestic cup in Italia. What a game. AC Milan had very little response to a high press, disciplined, effort-based game that Bologna implemented. Pulisic was not able to do damage. Santi tampoco. It was sad to see the Rossoneri, after a season that seemed to be going in an upward direction. They were doing great in Champions League. They were doing great in Serie A. But unfortunately now the Rossoneri are empty-handed. No Scudetto, no Champions League, no Europa League, no qualification, and a lot of questions for this team that has a solid team with a lot of money invested in it. And they were not able to break the lock that Italiano, this up-and-coming coach, the most underrated coach in Serie A, was able to present. Bologna, excellent in every line. They were strong in attack. They were disciplined in the midfield. They were aggressive on the defensive side. A worthy winner of this Coppa Italia. Now, let's talk about more European soccer. And for that, we are going all the way to the Slavic region of Europe with our own Nik Z. How are you, my friend?
Yes, that's right, Marce. Glad to be with you guys. Last week, it was Rome, Italy. This week, continuing the European coverage from Belgrade, Serbia.
Excellent. Now, tell me, what is going on in La Liga? I know Barcelona and Real Madrid had an electrifying game, but Barcelona seemed to have the number of Real Madrid for this season.
And we got to talk about Spain, though, because it's been a crazy week in La Liga, a thrilling El Clasico, significant managerial changes, and of course, the question arising, can we be on the edge of a dawn of a new era for Barcelona? Well, let's start here. This past Sunday, Barcelona hosting Real Madrid in a pivotal El Clasico, effectively determining La Liga titles. Barcelona triumphed 4-3 with standout performances by none other than Lamine Yamal as well as Rafinha. Now, despite a hat-trick from Kylian Mbappe, despite referees playing a little role in this, ruling 2 handball calls in favor of Madrid, one which actually disallowed a goal by Barcelona, Real Madrid couldn't secure the win, leaving Barcelona 7 points clear at the top with only 2 matches remaining, of course clinching their 28th La Liga title. Love to see it. Now, following the title deciding loss, Carlo Ancelotti announced his departure from Real Madrid. Now, for Madrid, we all know it was a particularly challenging year in matches against their arch rivals Barcelona. Real suffered from consecutive defeats in El Clasico encounters. Now, despite this tough year, we have to say Ancelotti, his amazing career, his illustrious record is not going to be overshadowed by this last year. Now, the first manager to capture titles in each of Europe's top 5 leagues, England, Spain, Germany, Italy, and France. His silverware at Madrid includes 3 Champions League titles, 2 Club World Cups, 3 European Super Cups, 2 La Liga titles, 2 Spanish Cups, 2 Spanish Super Cups, and 1 Intercontinental Cup. Now, the Italian manager will take over as head coach of the Brazil national team at the end of the month, ahead of the World Cup. Which begs the question, who's going to fill his shoes? Well, we're going to see former Real Madrid midfielder Xavi Alonso coming in. Alonso leaves Bayer Leverkusen after a successful stint, having led them to an undefeated Bundesliga title. He's set to begin his 3-year contract with Real Madrid on June 1st, right ahead of the FIFA Club World Cup, right in the United States. Now, Alonso played for Real from 2009 to 2014. We'll have to see what he does. I mean, what strategic moves Xavi will bring to rejuvenate Real Madrid's playing style and their competitiveness. But let's go back to Barca for a second. Their recent successes signal a resurgence under manager Hansi Flick. They got this blend of experienced players and emerging talents like Lamine Yamal. Now, the club appears poised for sustained dominance as they celebrate their latest La Liga triumph. The question is, could this be the beginning for a new golden era for Barcelona? What do you guys think?
Excellent analysis as always, Nick. Thank you for this comprehensive report on what's going on with European soccer. But we have to come to an end of this episode of LstiNation Football Club. Thank you at home for spending your time here with us. You are our MVP, el jugador más valioso de LstiNation Football Club. I am your host, Marcelino Ortiz, and I'll see you next week. Don't forget, we have the Summer of Soccer, Copa de Oro, Champions League Final, Club World Cup, and everything. We'll have it here. We'll see you next week.
Your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
They
does.
played side by side
Yes.
with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't
the
that
best
it wasn't as
quarterback
good as
prospect
Quinn
they've ever
Ewers.
got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian
Why
made
would it be
very
Quinn
clear
Ewers' program?
the entirety of the time that
No.
Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick,
Quinn
Arch
Ewers'
Manning is
team.
not that good and not deserving of being first overall is
Yes.
asinine. It is wrong.
I
It
just
is
told you
incorrect.
he's going to be #1 overall. My whole thing was I'm
you're
buying
doing
him
your
because
thing now
I
where you
expect him to
double
have
down on a
decent season.
take
No, I'm
that
not
is
doing that.
incorrect
The
when I
best
show it's
quarterback
incorrect.
prospect to ever hit college football can't play
He's
over
not,
a 7th-round
There were
pick
two
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback
Stop
recruits
it.
in the history
Stop
of the
it.
sport.
Quinn
Vince
Ewers couldn't
Young
even play at
and
Ohio
Quinn
State.
Ewers.
He couldn't even play at
Vince
Ohio
Young and
State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.